Star schoolboy rugby duo inspired to opt for Samoa ahead of New Zealand in sevens. Star schoolboy rugby duo inspired to opt for Samoa ahead of New Zealand in sevens. Saif Togoi'u in try-scoring form in the Auckland Under-20 club competition. When Kiwi schoolboy rugby stars Jiraiya Moa and Saif Togoi'u decided to follow their hearts and play for Samoa at a major international sevens tournament in Auckland this weekend, a seismic shift may have taken place. At least that's what their coach and former Manu Samoa star Tino, formerly Junior, Puiulilagiga is hoping transpires on the back of the gutsy, and unprecedented, decision by his star duo to turn their back New Zealand schools selection and instead turn out for their nation of heritage. It's a call, Puiulilagiga says, that was inspired by the decision by NRL stars Jason Taumalolo and Andrew Fifita to play for Tonga, ahead of, respectively, New Zealand and Australia, at the recent Rugby League World Cup, and one which could have far-reaching implications for the Pacific Island nations at international rugby level. Here is the background. Moa and Togoi'u, two bright stars on the New Zealand rugby horizon, were selected to play for the New Zealand team in Saturday's World Schools Sevens tournament being held at Auckland's Sacred Heart College. But Puiulilagiga also recruited them for his Samoa Barbarian side, which will compete alongside teams from New Zealand, Australia, Japan and Tonga. And the duo chose Samoa in a decision that does not capture their future eligibility, but sends a clear message around the options available for young rugby players in New Zealand of Pacific heritage. They might not ever get the opportunity to play for Samoa, they see the time is right, so why not? It's a high-profile tournament, and there is no harm in them doing it now, Puiulilagiga, who is director of rugby for the Papatoetoe club, told Stuff. A lot of schoolboy players have that dream of playing for the All Blacks and only have one country in their head they want to represent. But after what Taumalolo and Fifita have done at the League World Cup, it's opened their minds to really think about their family, their heritage and the opportunity to play for those countries. It's come at a perfect time for these boys, and they now get that opportunity. Talking to Jiraiya, he really wanted to do it to acknowledge his grandma who brought him up but is moving to Samoa at the end of the year. He said this was a great opportunity to honor her. These are not run-of-the-mill young footballers we are talking. Moa, from top 4 champions Hastings Boys High, is a New Zealand schoolboys representative, a national under-20s sevens trialist and has just signed a senior contract with Bay of Plenty. Togoi'u, a speedster and former league standout, was the breakout MVP star of last year's tournament whose highlight videos went viral on social media. Hopefully other schoolboy rugby stars can see the island nations as a pathway as well, adds Puiulilagiga. There might be kids sitting on the fence thinking I really want to be an All Black, but do I really think I'm going to get that far? Should I consider going down another route to play at the international level? Some kids too focused on the dream of playing for one country might find it's too late to switch, whereas those getting good advice could potentially follow another route to play international level, and play professional rugby for a longer period overseas, and earn more money. Puiulilagiga has been through the same decision-making process as a youngster and eventually chose Samoa when it became clear he was probably not going to be an All Black. He carved out a successful professional career on the back of that, both in New Zealand and abroad. But the former Blues and Chiefs halfback considers proposed changes to the international eligibility rule to allow former Test stars from Tier 1 nations to turn out for their Pacific Island nations of heritage the most important issue in the game. The proposed changes have been blocked thus far, but there is a growing clamor to push an exemption through to allow the likes of former All Blacks Charles Piutau, Stephen Liuachua and even Manani to represent their island nations. It's going to grow the game and they're going to inspire a lot of young boys to want to play for those island countries, said Piutau. I hope World Rugby has a serious think about it when they sit around the big round table. Those Tier 1 nations in the UK and Europe vote against it because it's a threat to them. But if World Rugby is serious about strengthening the game, adding depth, and if they see the value in the Pacific nations, they would allow for that rule. Piutau is adamant there is room for multiple pathways in New Zealand rugby. The one-marked destination All Blacks will always be the most followed. But youngsters must also be encouraged to at least consider taking the ones marked Samoa, Fiji or Tonga. That can be a way for New Zealand to give back to the island nations, not putting pressure on these kids to make New Zealand their no one country and embrace that there are island nations, and some players have a choice.